4.3 seconds. Indiana's down 1. The whole building is holding its breath. Sophie Cunningham catches the inbound, and instead of following what the coaches drew up, she fires a cross-court pass to the one person the play wasn't designed for. Caitlin Clark rises from 31 feet with barely a second left on the clock. Splash. Game over. Fever win. And that moment, the one every highlight reel replayed for the next 48 hours, wasn't even supposed to happen. The designed play had someone else's name on it. That single possession tells you everything about what's broken inside the Indiana Fever right now. And it starts with a decision made months before the ball was ever tipped. Rewind to April 10, 2026. ESPN's Chiny Aguamike drops the news first. Indiana's front office just made the biggest move of its offseason, and the name at the top of their list isn't Caitlin Clark. It's Kelsey Mitchell. The Fever handed her a core qualifying offer under the new labor deal, and by Friday it was done. 1 year, $1.4 million. The only super max on this roster, and one of just 3 in the entire league. 20% of a $7 million salary cap committed to one guard. And this wasn't some quiet backroom deal either. General Manager Amber Cox said it in the team's own press release. Securing Kelsey's return was their highest priority. Not hinted, not implied, printed in black and white for everyone to read. Now let me be real, because this part matters. Kelsey Mitchell earned every single penny. 20 points a game last season. First team all WNBA. When Caitlin went down in 2025 with soft tissue injuries and only managed 13 games, Mitchell carried the whole franchise on her back. She averaged 26 a game in the playoffs, shot 50% from deep, and dragged an injured roster within 1 win of the finals while Caitlin sat courtside in street clothes. Nobody with any credibility argues she didn't deserve that bag. But the question this whole thing lives on isn't about whether Kelsey deserved the money. It's about what the front office chose to build around that contract. And Monday night's final possession gave you the answer, whether they wanted you to see it or not. After the buzzer beater, the story started cracking. Lexi Hull stood at the podium and flat out admitted it. They were trying to draw a foul. She couldn't say that was what they drew up. Stephanie White told a completely different version, crediting assistant Austin Kelly with the design and claiming they executed it perfectly. Then Sophie Cunningham posted on social media with a wink, basically saying she went off script but won anyway. 2 days later, Sophie reversed course on X, suddenly echoing White's exact phrasing word for word and crediting the coach for a play White herself had already given to an assistant. 2 days, 2 stories, same player. When the explanation keeps shifting, the thing being explained is usually the uncomfortable part. And the uncomfortable part here is loud and clear. Reports suggest the first option on that play was Kelsey Mitchell. Caitlin was the second read. The podium told you before the film ever could. Sophie Cunningham shouldn't have to go rogue for the best player of her generation to touch the ball with the game on the line. But she did. And it worked. And that might be the loudest critique of this front office all season, delivered without a single word into a microphone. So who's responsible for the blueprint? Not Kelsey Mitchell. She didn't write the depth chart. She didn't choose the late game structure. She didn't put her own name at the top of a priority list. Players take what's offered. Architects decide what gets built. The architect has a name. Kelly Crosskopf, president of basketball and business operations, back atop this franchise since September 2024 and running decisions in Indiana on and off since the team was born. Her very first transaction in December of 1999 was the trade that brought a young Stephanie White to Indiana as a player. 26 years later, that same Stephanie White coaches the offense Crosskopf's front office approved, hired in November 2024 with Crosskopf already sitting upstairs. That's not a fun fact. That's how deep one person's fingerprints go on everything this franchise does. She also made NBA history by becoming the first female assistant general manager with the Pacers. She built the roster that won a championship in 2012. She knows what winning looks like. The question is whether she's building toward it now or protecting a structure that already has cracks in the foundation. And the cracks showed up again just days before that buzzer beater. Late May against Portland, cameras caught Clark and White in a heated sideline exchange during a timeout. White pulled Caitlin from the game and plugged in rookie Raven Johnson. Both downplayed it afterward. White called it coaching. Clark called it two competitive people who want to win. But the image lingered. The biggest star in the sport, yanked during a blowout after a visible argument with the coach this front office handpicked. It's not proof of dysfunction, but it's another frame in a pattern that keeps developing. Now put the paychecks side by side because the gap reveals the hierarchy. Mitchell at $1.4 million, Clark at reportedly around $528,000. The Supermax pays nearly 3 times what the face of the entire sport earns. Before anyone blames the front office for the salary difference, the rules matter. Caitlin's still on her rookie scale deal. The new CBA lifted it from $78,000 to over $500,000, but she can't touch a Supermax yet. That part isn't on Crosskopf. Here's what is. Pay grades are rules. Hierarchies are choices. The front office can't set Caitlin's salary, but they choose every single night whose hands the offense runs through when it counts. They chose the system. They chose the coach. They chose to call someone else priority number one and publish it. Monday night, the players overruled all of it for exactly one possession, and it was the only possession that mattered. This franchise used to understand this. From the day Indiana drafted Tamika Catchings in 2001, nobody in that building ever questioned who the engine was. 15 seasons, a championship in 2012, Catchings holding the finals MVP trophy. Every coach who passed through Indy built around her because that's what you do when a generational player wears your jersey. You don't make her the backup option. You don't rank her second on any list. Stephanie White knows this personally. She played alongside Catchings in the early 2000s. She saw what a franchise looks like when it's certain about its star. Crosskopf was there for every chapter. They wrote the blueprint for how you treat a cornerstone. And then 25 years later, they handed that blueprint to somebody else and let the best player they've arguably ever had find out where she stood along with the rest of us. History has a warning for moments like this. October 2012, Oklahoma City had James Harden, a finals roster and a choice to make. They moved him over money and structure. 13 years went by before that franchise found its way back. 13 years of what-ifs, all traced to one front office call about which star fit the plan. Caitlin Clark is 24 years old. Her prime is not a renewable resource. The window where she's the most electrifying player in basketball is wide open right now. This month, this season, and Indiana is spending it forcing her to prove possession by possession that the offense should run through her. They're constructing a $78 million training facility. They're selling out every building in the league. The spotlight has never burned brighter on women's basketball. None of that matters if the people upstairs keep arguing with their own paperwork. So watch the next close game. Not the score, the final 5 minutes. Ask one question. By design, not after someone improvises, not after a teammate breaks a play. By design, whose hands does the ball live in? If it's Caitlin's, maybe Monday night finally changed something inside that building. If it isn't, the paperwork from April still stands. The priority list hasn't budged, and the only people fighting to put the ball where it belongs are the ones lacing up their sneakers. Drop your take in the comments. Because the front office sure as hell isn't asking you.
Before going further, if you're enjoying this video, don't forget to smash that subscribe button. It really helps us keep bringing you the content you love. Share this video with your friends so they don't miss out on all the drama and excitement.